Hey everybody, it's Clift. I am with Planter Indoor Garden Market. Excited to share with you about starting seeds indoors. Did you know that you can now grow more than 75 pounds of greens, herbs, fruiting plants in your home in about the same size space as a coffee table? If you've got a little bit of extra space in your home, you can actually almost replace the grocery store. We're not quite there yet, but we have the technology. We will get there not too far into the future. And if you want to learn how to do that, we've got a free training program right here. Go ahead and give that a scan or head over to Indoor Garden Market, which you see scrolling down there at the bottom. So this week is actually the fourth week of our 2026 training program. We've got a free guide that is included in the free training program, takes you through everything step by step, everything each week. It's all tied in with our training program here, our live streams, which are every week on Saturdays, 8 p.m. approximately. Sometimes we start a little later, but approximately 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's all recorded, and so you can join us, view it later on, get your materials, get your tips and tricks, figure out how to do this for yourself and your family. And that's all coming from indoorgardenmarket.com. So this week, really exciting topic, starting seeds indoors. So that's Rockwool, soil, and then we're going to go through some germination basics as well. So let's get things kicked off. So a few of the basics here. So what is it that seeds really need in order to germinate successful? There's a few things. So obviously moisture, you really want a very high humid moisture environment. The types of materials you're using can help you with that if you're using them in the right way. You want warm, so most of your seeds are going to be okay in like 70 to 75. Could be as low as 68 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe up 78, 79, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. But generally, the sweet spot somewhere between 70 degrees Fahrenheit and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. The nice thing about that is pretty comfortable temperature to and what we enjoy indoors in our own homes. So winter time, it's good to have maybe a heating mat underneath those seeds to make sure you kind of keep that soil warm enough in the winter time as temperatures tend to dip indoors in most homes. But in the summertime, absolutely very easy to do. Oxygenation, important point. When you are growing seedlings, you want to make sure that you don't have soil that's compacted down. You don't want to have like a water filled environment, kind of feels like a mush or a bog in your seedling starting place. And then, of course, you're going to give it some time. You don't need nutrients at the beginning of this process. Later on, as the seedlings are growing out, you do, but you don't really need it at the beginning. So a few things that I know grow super well are lettuce, arugula, spinach, basil. They grow well in soil under a 50-watt LED grow light. They grow really well in hydroponics, and you can save yourself 30%. So you can save yourself time. The hydroponic systems will grow 30% quicker than the others. And so we do have we've got a nice bundle that's from Seeds Now that can help you get started with this. Let me grab it for you right there. This is actually all-in-one hydroponic greens. Oh, this is the lettuce and leafy greens variety pack. Comes from Seeds Now. It's a single package like this, hundreds or thousands of seeds. I forget the exact amount. It's more than 1,000 seeds though. Nice thing about indoor growing, you're going to plant exactly the right number of seeds. They're not going to blow away in the wind. They're not going to fall into the ground and be wasted because they won't be planted properly. You never have trouble planting 100% of the seeds, and you will get great results because you're controlling a lot of those variables. So Seeds Now, right there, it's a great starter pack. Honestly, if you're growing 30 or maybe even 50 plants every quarter across the whole year, that'll last you a couple of years at least, probably more than that. Lots of great varieties in there, and it's an awesome way to get started. So let's jump over to Rockwool versus soil. So the cool thing about indoor growing is that we've got a bunch of options. We control many of the variables that would usually tank your outdoor garden. It's never going to be too hot. It's certainly never going to be too cold. You're not going to have pests generally come in and attack your garden. You're not going to have problems with animals like deer or squirrels or any of those things. So you really have kind of that maintain that controlled temperature which does really well across a wide variety of different things. Now, to grow in that, there's two different ways of doing it. Pretty much everybody understands soil. We'll talk about that in a second. But you can add to your list of tools Rockwool. So Rockwool looks like this. It's essentially an inert material. It soaks nutrients up really well. It allows oxygen to permeate there. And it comes pre-built with holes. So you can actually just drop a seed into the hole. And then once the seedling has grown out, then you can pop it into a hydroponic system. Now I have one of our systems that we've been growing out right here. So let me bring it over for a demonstration. So 2 weeks ago, approximately 16 days ago, I actually planted this system out with seedlings from our seedling bundles that are available in the Washington, D.C. area as part of our indoor garden market. Now, you don't have to use those. Obviously, you can grow your own seeds. You can do all of this on your own. But this is how quick these plants are going to grow out. This is easy harvest stage. We've got a mixture of Mizuna as well as Tatsoi over here. This is great for stir fries. Honestly, they're both great in stir fries. You can eat them fresh if you want, but they do really well. So it's 2 weeks, a little more than 2 weeks. These are up to full size. Now that's from a seedling. So if you get a chance to buy a seedling bundle, you save yourself a lot of time. Our seedling bundles typically are ready to harvest in 7 to 10 days. Depends on how long we've been able to grow them before we get them to our customers. But really, really easy to grow these things out. You can do it from seed too, which is what we're talking about here. But it saves so much time. From a seed perspective, if you are planting, pop a seed into this, you stick that into one of those hydroponic systems, you're still going to take 30, 35 days probably to get up to your harvest size. Now, because we have seedling bundles, when you pop those into a system, you're saving at least 20 days, sometimes 25 days, depending on the size of the plant. Once these plants hit those hydroponic systems, they take off right away, and you're going to be harvesting for a couple of months from those plants in the systems, depending on the size, of course. So Rockwool's really great to start seedlings out. Consistent moisture, it's very clean for indoor setups. You can transplant straight over into a hydroponic system, a vertical tower, a box system like you see right here. Soil, although of course soil is really the basics part of how most people would grow. So I've got an example here. So first I'll show you. So this is actually soil-based system that we're growing out. These will eventually be tomato and cucumber seedlings. So they're not quite grown out yet, but this box holds 3 times 4, 12 plants basically, and they've been planted with a variety of tomatoes and cucumbers. These are dwarf varieties, so they're really small and compact. We showed some of our tomatoes in the last indoor garden markets planter grow night. So if you want to go back to that episode, you can see that tomato plant. It's growing beautifully in a self-watering pot. But really easy to take compost or a seed starting mix and then drop it into what is essentially like little slats. And it also allows you to put water down in the bottom of the system so it can grow. So I'll show you what that looks like. This is one of our seedling boxes. So this is actually an insert. It's got some holes in the bottom of it right there. Fill that with your compost. Worm compost, for example, works amazing if you can get it, or you grow it yourself. It's part of our training program, actually, if you want to learn. But you can actually fill these up, push the seeds into them, and then you are going to put a dome over the top of it. So most of your seeds are going to grow out. I'd say you should have a sprout probably in the first 7 days. If you haven't gotten the sprout yet, you might want to consider planting a couple more seeds. Some plants take longer than others, some seeds take longer than others, but generally speaking, that's kind of the amount of time that would be required. And on our boxes, we've got a free Udemy course that comes with with your system, and obviously help QR scan codes and a lot of other benefits when you can get it at one of our local events, which we've got coming up next month in February if you're in the Washington, D.C. area. But so soil, really easy, familiar. Transplanting is pretty easy. You can even take the seeds out or the seedlings out of soil wash off the roots gently, and you can take them and wrap one of these plugs around them and then stick them into a hydroponic system. Totally fine to do that. If you grow hydroponic rockwool seedlings and you want to plant it inside of a soil system, also perfectly fine. Just make sure that you dig down a little deep and then pile soil all around it. So if you've got, say, dwarf tomatoes or cucumbers that are growing, you can actually transplant those into a soil system. Self-watering pot is what I would recommend. So lots of great ways that you can do this. And we just control so many of the variables that we really do get excellent results. So I don't want anyone to feel like this is some complex thing. It's not. It's easier than it's ever been. Once you get going and you've done it a couple of different times, it's about the easiest thing you can imagine. So moving right along here, basic steps. People are pretty familiar with this, but you're going to fill your container that we saw right here with your soil. You're going to plant the right number of seeds. So most of the time, you're going to plant, I'd say 2 to 3 seeds, unless you buy from a store where you're not sure how many seeds are going to germinate. So in that case, you might want to plant 3 to 5 just to be safe. You can always transplant those seeds somewhere else. You can take them, put them in another system. You could put them in a secondary pot under a light if you wanted to. Just generally better to plant more seeds than less when you're doing that. And then you're gonna leave them alone. Make sure that they've got the lights, and they're pretty much just gonna kind of work on their own there. So jumping over to lights, water, and temperature. So in the first 10 days, it's really important that you introduce lights after a couple of days. The seeds have nutrients around them, and so they're going to have some energy to grow. But usually a couple days into the cycle, you're going to want to turn that light on. And so generally speaking, you can keep it on for 12 to 14 hours. And you don't need a huge light for this. 50-watt grow light, full spectrum grow light, positioned like 3 to 4 inches, about this far off the top of it. That's usually enough to get yourself going. So the soil itself, you want to make sure that the soil is moist, not wet. It shouldn't feel like a marsh or a bog where you could see like water or it kind of splashes when you touch it. It should just be moist. It's really important. And if you're not seeing anything that's coming up, don't worry about that. You can obviously just start another seed. Indoors, we grow 365 days a year. You are never late. You're always right on time when you're starting your garden. And as the old joke says, the best time to start a garden is yesterday. The second best time is today. And it absolutely holds true for indoor food growing as well. So keep that light close. You're going to miss the top of the seeds at the beginning just to keep that surface really, really moist. Keep the lid on there, hold that moisture in. You want a high humidity environment. Then later you're going to actually, hopefully you would be able to just put water at the root zone. Try to encourage that plant to grow roots down deep and to grab water from the bottom of your pan. So a couple of germination challenges that, you could see. Some of those might be seeds not sprouting. Plant a couple more seeds. It's okay. 7 days, you haven't seen anything. 8 days, 9 days, just plant a few more seeds. Keep trying. Mold and algae, pretty common. You might see that in times where you don't really have a lot of air circulation. Turn a small fan, like a USB powered fan on it. That's usually enough to keep that problem away. Good airflow, also critical. You might have uneven growth between the different kinds of plants. That's not necessarily a problem, but if you find that one plant is significantly smaller, it might be a good idea to plant another seed, get something else started just in case that one's not going to make it. Lots of different ways that you can get started, of course, and we have lots of things that can help you out through this process. So let me highlight just a couple of the other things that we have to get you going. We do have our free indoor garden setup guide right here. This is a simple checklist. You can access it, see what materials you need. We have recommendations for you. You can copy, go to Amazon, order whatever you like. I do recommend for your seedling starting, 50-watt grow light, full spectrum. Does not have to be anything fancy, but if you get anything less than 50 watts, those seedlings may not have enough energy to grow from that light. But that's the free indoor garden setup guides right there. And this is all part of the free training program. So if you sign up for that, you get access to it. We do have a training playlist. So all of our live sessions are put into one YouTube training list. So you can actually go through them one after another, get all the training you need, and then grow along with us as well. And if you felt like you really needed some extra help, we do have our Udemy course package, which includes all of these steps. So growing seedlings, hydroponics, intro to indoor growing, a garden building class with AI, walking you through how to set up a system like the AeroGrow system that I just showed you. And it does come with 2 hours of one-on-one video help. So you can work with one of our community growers and you'll be able to get help with setting up a system, tips and tricks, whatever you might need. So lots of different resources for you to help get going, and it's available year round. We don't have any limits anymore. We can grow food for ourselves all year, anytime, as much as we want, basically. So lots of great stuff. And if you're just looking for one place to get some seeds, definitely recommend Seeds Now. There's the QR code for it right there. They've got a wide variety of soil seeds that are great, of hydroponic seeds that work, seeds that work great in hydroponic systems, other supplies. It's a great resource for you. So this link should take you to the website, and I think there's a 10% discount. I don't remember exactly what it is, but something to help you get started as you're beginning this new journey. So thanks so much for joining us. If you happen to be from the Washington, D.C. area, do note that our Winter Greens and Comfort Mix seedling bundles are coming up. The first batch of them will be available in the first week of February. You can get them, pre-order them on our website, indoorgardenmarket.com. They come in bundles of 8, 12, 16, or 32. And a lot of different seeds are represented here, different plants: romaine lettuce, butterhead, red leaf, spinach, red Russian kale, chard, arugula, mizuna, lots of different things. Oh, excuse me. Lots of different things. You can scan this QR code and pre-order if you are local to us. And it comes with this great resource. You do get help anytime through our website, and you also get live classes. You get our Udemy class for free as well. That's a $20 value. And of course, setup guide and everything is built into one box. It comes with free nutrients for any hydroponic system you'd like as well. So lots of benefits there. Only Washington, D.C. though. If you're joining us from somewhere else, hopefully we'll have a community grower to provide you with these services in the future. We're slowly building that out. So thanks so much for joining us. Really happy you could come and see how to grow seeds, seedlings, everything on our 4th week of the 2026 Indoor Food Growing Training Program. Next week is really exciting because we're going to go through how many plants do you actually need. If you've got a certain number of people for your household, what kind of the minimum number of tomatoes? So you're always eating tomatoes. The minimum number of cucumbers, where you're always eating cucumbers. Same for greens and veggies. We do have a good metric for that. We're going to walk you through that process, and we're going to give you some basic things to think about when you're designing your indoor food growing space. So coming up Saturday, January 3rd, same time, same channel. If you haven't done so before, definitely check out our website, indoorgardenmarket.com. Sign up for the free training right there. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out on our website as well. And if you would like to actually share what you're growing, we'd love to see it. All you have to do is hashtag #myindoorfoodgarden and share your picture, and we will feature it on one of our indoor food growing live streams like this one each week. So thanks so much for joining us. Really excited to see what you're growing, and we would love to hear from you. We'll catch you next week.